The galaxy was vast, home to countless civilizations bound by the Galactic Accord, a treaty enforced by the Trine. As the oldest and wisest species, the Trine were revered as peacekeepers. They had no armies, no weapons of war, yet their influence stretched across star systems. Their philosophy of nonviolence had become a cornerstone of interstellar society. Other species sought their guidance, and disputes were resolved through their diplomacy. For millennia, the galaxy thrived under their leadership. Then humanity arrived. Unlike the Trine, humans were newcomers, carving their place among the stars with determination and innovation. They were unlike any species the galaxy had seen, adaptive, unpredictable, and often perceived as reckless. To many, humans were a species to be tolerated, not admired. They spoke too boldly, acted too impulsively, and had a history littered with conflict. Yet, in their short time within the Galactic Alliance, humanity had made its mark. Humans brought fresh ideas. Their advancements in technology, medicine, and energy quickly spread, benefiting countless worlds. Still, whispers of unease lingered. Many believed humanity's history of warfare meant they could not be trusted with the fragile peace the galaxy enjoyed. Some feared that humans would inevitably draw the galaxy into conflict. That fear became reality when the Kraeven Dominion emerged. The Kraeven were brutal conquerors, their empire built on the ruins of those they destroyed. They had long ignored the Galactic Accord, existing on the fringes, but now they surged inward, targeting weaker systems. Humanity, with its young colonies and limited resources, was an easy target. The first Kraeven attacks were devastating. Entire settlements were reduced to ash, their inhabitants enslaved or slaughtered. The Kraeven's message was clear: surrender or face annihilation. Many species turned away, unwilling to challenge the Dominion. Some whispered that humanity had brought this upon themselves, their defiance making them a magnet for violence. The Trine watched in silence. For generations, they had remained impartial, trusting in diplomacy and their moral authority to maintain peace. Yet, as reports of humanity's plight reached them, doubt crept into their council chambers. Was it truly peace to remain neutral while others suffered? Could they uphold their ideals if it meant standing by as entire worlds burned? Humanity's response surprised everyone. They didn't beg for help, nor did they retreat. Instead, they fought. Against impossible odds, humans resisted. They rallied their fleets, mobilized their people, and transformed their colonies into fortresses. The Kraeven expected submission, but they encountered defiance. Humanity's resilience was unmatched, their determination unshakable. The Trine monitored every battle, observing humanity's efforts with growing fascination. For all their faults, humans refused to yield. They protected not only their own but also alien refugees fleeing Kraeven aggression. Stories of human sacrifice and bravery began to spread. These tales painted a picture of a species willing to risk everything, not for conquest, but for survival and justice. The galaxy, divided by fear, began to take notice. And deep within the Trine, seeds of doubt took root. For the first time in centuries, the peacekeepers questioned their role. Humanity's desperation became evident when they sent a plea to the Galactic Council, a call for help broadcast across the stars. The message was raw, unrefined, and filled with a grim resolve. "We fight not just for ourselves, but for the right of all species to live free," it said. It was a statement not of submission, but of defiance, a desperate cry that reverberated through the galaxy. But the response, or lack thereof, was telling. Most species, unwilling to risk conflict with the Kraeven, remained silent. The Trine were different. They didn't immediately respond, but they could no longer ignore the rising tension. Their council met in quiet deliberation, grappling with the weight of humanity's plea. For centuries, the Trine had maintained neutrality, standing as guardians of peace, without ever lifting a weapon. It had been their creed to avoid conflict, believing that peace came from understanding, from dialogue, from non-interference. But what was peace if it meant allowing the destruction of those who could not defend themselves? A debate raged within the Trine ranks, their own philosophies tested by the actions of humanity. Some held firmly to the idea that peace must remain untainted by violence, no matter the cost. They argued that intervening in the conflict would undermine everything that Shreen had stood for. Others, however, pointed to the strength of humanity's resolve and their fight for more than survival. Was it peace, they asked, to stand idle while injustice spread across the galaxy? Was it truly peaceful to allow oppression to grow unchecked? The Shreen had always believed that their peaceful philosophy was the only path forward. They had held the galaxy together through diplomacy, through the power of nonviolence. Yet, as they watched humanity struggle, they began to see things differently. The humans fought not because they sought to conquer, but because they refused to let tyranny reign. They fought because they believed that every species, no matter how small or young, had a right to stand against oppression. Humanity had done what the Shreen could never imagine. They had chosen to fight, not for power, but for freedom. The tipping point came when a Shreen elder met with a human diplomat, a simple exchange that would change everything. The humans spoke not of battles or strategy, but of what it meant to fight for something greater than oneself. The human explained how, in their darkest moments, their history had been shaped not by domination but by resistance against overwhelming odds. The humans spoke of the sacrifices made by those who came before them, who had fought for their people and for others, often at the cost of their own lives. There was no glory in it, only a deep, unwavering belief that standing up against injustice was worth any cost. The Shreen elder listened quietly, deeply moved. In the human diplomat's words, the elder saw something that transcended the old philosophies. The idea of peace through inaction seemed hollow in the face of such courage. The Shreen had been wrong. Peace was not the absence of war, it was the presence of justice, of standing up for what was right, even if it meant fighting. The elder spoke only one phrase, but it would echo through the council chambers. Perhaps peace is not the absence of war, but the presence of justice. And with that, the Shreen made their decision. They would stand with humanity. They would fight, not for conquest, but for the freedom of all species threatened by the Kraeven. It was a decision that shook the very foundations of the galaxy. The Shreen, who had never before chosen a side in any conflict, now made their stance clear. They would no longer remain neutral in the face of tyranny. Humanity's courage had awakened something within them, and the galaxy would never be the same again.